let's try this again. Part two. Part two. All right, so just to, like everybody heads up, I figured it out this time. I was waiting and watching, and it was clearly my software, my streaming software crashed. So I watched it, and I guess that's what you get for using free streaming software. So I will now be going out and getting. Actually, I'm gonna try Zoom. So I will have that downloaded as soon as I get off the show, and I'm gonna go set that up. I apologize, but the good news is I finally figured it out. Big sad face. All right. Where were we? So where were we? This is not
Well,
a clean chart.
we were trying to figure out like what's going on here because we wanted, at least I was wanting to see if this area that we were able to have a nice little bounce towards the end of yesterday's candle, if it was going to hold, and we basically just put in a lower low from it. Now, if that was intended to basically blast out a lot of people's stop losses who had got in that oversold area, that's a possibility here. But right now, we're clearly seeing some bearishness continue in the day here. I do like how people are still trying to buy these dips, these higher these higher than normal volume spikes, especially on really low time frames. So back to back on a low time frame like the 5 minute, the past 15 minutes has seen really high volume, and the lower wicks on those candles suggest at least there is some bottom beating right now. So the volume's there. The indicators, at least on a lot of time frames, really heading up to the 4 hour, are still in those oversold areas here. So I'm still looking for some sort of support to be held in this area for at least some time, and try and put in somewhat of a bounce. The 4 hours back to 23 now on the RSI. We haven't been down there on the 4 hour since early July, about July 12th. And we're basically putting in a low right in that area where we had previously bounced from. That started that whole nice uptrend through the continuation of July. So on the 4 hour RSI, we're once again retesting those areas.
Yeah, and this looks like even while we're on the air here, we're live a second time that we could get down here and finally test out my possible bounce zone. Just be remember that this could get really ugly really fast here. It's got to hold this line. It's got to hold that line. If it doesn't hold that line, we do know where our second targets are. So we're going to go ahead and let's take a look. We're just going to kind of peg up. So the 128 on the daily needs to hold. This is also the 2 hour, 12 hour has the 200 MA on the same line. Two, we're gonna kind of let's go down. We're gonna call our second support. Where's your second support, buddy? Chone.
From where we are right now.
Yeah. Where would it be if we broke this? Where would be your second support?
I'm looking for like a hair over $7,500. That's where we wicked out consistently when we were basically stalled out there between July 17th and 22nd, $7,500.
Let's call that the first low. That's our first low. That's our next target.
Thinking,
Yeah, because I'm saying 7,500 ish right here. I'm saying 75,
okay.
7580 ish. I mean, look at this is trending lower, so you're at 75, right. 75, 72. So I mean, 7,500 ish. We've got that for our first target, lower second.
Then if that's not where we're kind of end up there, I basically would be looking for somewhere either a double test or a slightly higher wick of where we bottomed out during that time period. And that basically is right around 7,200. And that basically is your kind of low of that cycle where we consolidated for almost a week before we went higher. So that was clearly that bottom support. If now tested, that should at least act as some support. If we don't even hold 75, and yeah, I definitely 72 right there.
Yeah, let's say 7,500-ish.
And again, it's about these wicks here. Like the money is made in the wicks. If you're catching these knives underneath, or if you're trying to scalp out of a trade, the wicks on these candles are a lot of them are really long. So a lot of that money to scoop up is where it's made there on the end of the wicks, not kind of in the bodies.
Yeah. All right. So we're just gonna kind of march down here. So we're just gonna also put weekly DC with the 50 and the 30 is 5 days away. All right, I think we got 5 more days away to that. Is it 4 or 5 more days? It's technically Wednesday, right? Is it Wednesday? Wednesday. This is the Wednesday candle. Yeah, so it's 5 days.
Yes.
5 days. So if we're 5 days away, I had to count that out. Thank God. Thank you, 6 years of college. All right, so
Something also interesting on the daily RSI, if you could pull that up for just
Yep,
a
yeah,
second.
for sure. Let's add it. Oh, I do have it already. Let me see. It's right over here. I've already been charting it.
Yeah, just talking about, areas that used to be very strong resistance that we're able to break out of. So on the daily RSI, there's a lot of history right at around 53 on the daily RSI. And the fact that we were able to break bullish out of it, have a really nice run, put some sort of kind of head and shoulders there on the RSI's pattern there, almost like a Batman or something. And not really a Batman, more like a ghost, I guess, with shoulder pads.
Yeah.
And now we're once again supporting that 53 area, looking for a bounce. That was again a nice, interesting area back in April where we had our moves there. We're basically breaking out of 53, allowed us to push higher. And then our very first stop of support on the way down back in May was also in that 53 area. So we're once again in a very interesting support zone. I would expect to at least hold initially untapped on the daily RSI around 53, 52 and change.
Yeah. No, I agree. We're coming down. We're getting close, and this looks like a massive head and shoulders to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Just looks like a huge head and shoulders. And if this is the head and shoulders, this would be the actual fall. This would be the target 40 RSI. So we're going to just throw that on here, that this target for this would technically be that. Now there's going to be some, craziness in here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But the ultimate
remember,
target
on the
would be
daily,
here.
you can drop below this line. It's when the close happens, so you can even have a V bottom and break it. And then as the day ends, you close above it and you have a nice curved, line. So you can break here. And that break, could still be hundreds of dollars in terms of the price of Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm. And let me show you kind of when you make this Batman pattern up here, this is kind of the same thing. I mean, look, you always come down and retest. So here's the bottom, the Batman, the bottom, they line up, right? The bottom, kind of the Batman up here, the bottom, right? Here you go, the bottom. A double-headed Batman came right back down to the same place, right? I mean, you see that this comes up and it does this and then comes right back down and retests exactly the same area almost every time. So I would be looking for this to possibly come back down here, retest this zone, and if that is what happens, so
That's the fallout thing there. I mean, you got to realize the more oversold we get, the better bounce that can, come through that, especially if we really oversold on higher indicators. When the market's out of whack one way or the other, it tends to kind of snap back and try and correct itself. We're not really there yet. We had this room to fall just because we already kind of laid the groundwork for a break of 7,800, and being back up at 8,200 yesterday, it just seemed like there was nothing holding us up once we fell through 8,000. So even though yesterday's candle was pretty harsh, very bearish, of course, the wick on the bottom wasn't that great. It just clearly shows what kind of environment we're in right now. And listen, it also shows how really strong this move was. I mean, a lot of holders that were convinced that this is the turnaround move for Bitcoin based on, potentially what they read online and whatnot. And just this move itself, it was a very nice move. People now need to experience either if this is a very healthy correction, which it still can be. We're not anywhere near anything that's oversold and crazy, but we have to see how this plays out and how it really respects the lower support zones.
Yeah, I would like to see I would like to see this support hold and give us a
Mm-hmm.
second, a nice little bounce up, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. Looking at this RSI formation though, um, I'm not feeling the FOMO right now. I mean, I see right now. I feel like we're gonna get this jagged action right in here, right? I think we're gonna start to see some jagged action in here play out. But this is real tough. Looking once again, this is a very easy line to draw here, right? Let's draw this damn line, right? This is not a happy line, right? This is not. This is a very bearish. This is bearish divergence. Okay, that's what that is. This is, you can't make higher highs on your indicators and lower lows on your price. That is not healthy, right? You want to make lower highs on your indicators and a higher price action. That shows you have way more room to continue to go up here.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in a dangerous spot here, and we've been saying this for a while. Now, if you go out to your weekly, I just want to pull the weekly out here. All right, let me expand this thing out a little bit. I just, look at your MAs. Let's make sure we're looking for some bottom targets here, 7K. It's just, this is we got to keep an eye on this. This weekly chart, I feel, is really where the next comfortable trading position for me is. Right? Today was a good chart. We had a really good, we made some easy money today, but it's not about making easy money. This is making about uh, uh, this, easy money is easy to make, right? This is about making stress-free calls, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel that this is a stress-free call coming up here with this cross. And like I said, I've been sitting in shorts since the very top of here. You guys know I've been sitting in shorts. I share my shorts. They're online. You
Mm-hmm.
can see what they are. You can see where they're at. And I just, I didn't have much confidence, and that's why I have never left my short position, right? I just haven't felt the confidence to leave that short position yet. And I'm probably one of the only guys who's been sitting in a short that long. I haven't seen anybody else sitting in a short for that long. And I'm not, this for me is a very hard area to break. This
Yeah.
8,500. It's listen, can it be done? Here's the issue. Where's the MAs right now that I'm looking for the easy trade setup to give me a golden cross, to give me a bullish cross, to push me back up there, right? I'm not seeing them. I'm not seeing these, like here you are. Here's our 12 hour, right? We're below. We're about to make a death cross on our 12 hour.
Mm.
Bearish cross, right? There's our 6 hour. Look, you've got a bearish cross. And this is, look at this thing. This thing is about to cross right here. Okay?
Do you think on the 6 hour, are we at we just had a red 9?
Red 9 bleeding out, which we've talked
Yeah, bleeding
about.
out for about 1 to 4 candles, you think, right?
Yep, this thing can bleed right out, right? And this thing, now look at the 6 hour. The 6 hour has no support below it here,
Mm.
right? So if you're playing the 6 hour chart only, and this is your money chart, now you haven't gone down into super sold territory. You still got a little way to go in your RSI. You're only at 36, right? So you got a little way to go before you'd finally be like, all right, this thing's gonna bounce, right? Um, but I mean, this is okay. So let's go over here. Let's take a look at the last time our 6 hour was down here. Last time we got our 6 hour down. So you did get a 9. Look, so we got a 9 confirmation down here, which was great, and that was a good turnaround. This was a super hard place to trade.
Mm.
Then you came down again. We touched down here one more time. Look, you got another 9. The 9 bled out, right? So look at this. We get these 9s higher up, and then they bleed out, right? This is where we're at right here. I'm looking, look, here's the 9 up and bled out, 9 up and bled out. So I'm just be careful right here with your trading. Now, these didn't bleed out that far. Let's see how many points this bled out. I mean, this really, this got a little bit of a bounce and then bled out 300 points, right? 2 to 300 point bleed outs. Not really that bad. I mean, that's now if you came over here and you saw this one, this is actually substantial. It's like a 500 point bleed out. So let's really be careful playing this 9 here, people, okay? Correlate your RSI, the bottom of your RSI right here, looking for a bounce, looking for an easier bounce, okay? Thoughts on the 6 hour, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking for. We talked about the retracement, and basically, if these areas don't hold, I agree with you that a little pop and then the continued bleed out of the 9, which seems to be the only time frame that has kind of an interesting TD, correlation there. We haven't even retraced to the 0.382 of our overall move from our lows in the 57 to our high at $8,500 there. So there's still a lot of room to go. 382 is at 7,400, so there marks kind of our break of a hair under 7,500 with a flush. There'll be a small, I'm sure, kind of buy wall at 7,500 to kind of try and hold it up. That should flush out, and then there should be a pop up after that flushes. That doesn't hold. Our 50% retracement is all the way down to $7,100, and that would coincide with a bleed out if we aren't able to hold 72.50. So there's a lot more downward lower areas of support that we've yet to test, I feel, than kind of higher ones that are looking to be tested first.
Yep. So we're gonna go over here and let's see if I can. So sorry. So I'm gonna put on here that the 6 hour has a death cross in 4.5 hours. Okay. So let's just add this so everybody can see that. 6 hour. That look like the 7 and the 50 bear cross in 4.5 hours. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and take a look again. Let's pull up our 4 hour. Now I do like the 4 hour chart. All right, so the 4 hour chart is deep on the RSI, right? This thing is deep. Look, but it likes to come down. It likes to come down right here. So, this does look like it's got a little bit left in it. This looks like it's got a little bit left in the tank down here. It does like to come down here and play in this area for a bounce. So this does have a little bit. Now remember, the RSI can move and retract, move and retract, move and retract. The 4 hour is not giving us a 9. It is hung up on support right now on the 100, which is a very weak support. Okay.
And remember, on the RSI, you don't necessarily a low in the RSI doesn't necessarily mean a bottom in the price. Many times you'll have a low in the RSI, and then you'll have a higher low in the RSI and a lower low in the price, and that actually becomes the bottom when you have that kind of slight bullish divergence there on a smaller time frame. So even though we might bottom out in the RSI on the 4 hour in the 20s, the low 20s, we might still bounce around and potentially put in a small lower low and then move higher in a bounce, and it will bounce, especially historically speaking. We are down an area here where we have these quick W whiplash bottoms and then a nice pop higher. But to get that to happen, we kind of have to get in an area where it feels like there's a value out there, and that's probably a little bit lower potentially.
Yeah, so we're definitely getting down there. I don't really like to go any lower. We're going to go over and peek at the 12 hour. 12 hour will possibly close. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to close out unless the price really drops. So the price has got to drop below the 7,600 in order for this to make a death cross coming on the 12 hour. So it's still a full daily close away for this death cross. And then I didn't see anything on the daily. nothing on the daily. But at the same time, you got to remember you're also looking where is the support on the daily. 7200's our support. So
Mhm.
that's kind of where we're at. Look at the daily, look at the RSI on the daily. All right, when you get down below 50, it gets, remember, people, so important, everyone. You need to not be afraid of falling out from the top. You need to be afraid of falling out lower, right? So you get down to this 50 range, right? Once you get below 50, this is where it gets real ugly on the RSI, okay? You break this 50 and we're at 54 on the daily, okay? So if you go back and you correlate the last few times, you were at 54, and you take a look up here. Let's just peek where it happened last time we were falling out, and we hit 54. I mean, it was just a lot of ugly. Yeah, it's never a good thing to fall down here. Yeah, when you get down here in these ranges, this is just super bad. All right. I think that's it. I think we're good. I did have one more chart. So I did get a really, so I do watch Tone Vase. I love Tone, and he had a really good guest on. He had Willy Woo. So
Mhm.
I tore apart one of Willie's charts.
Mm.
I tore apart one of his charts. I don't think he'd be happy about this, what I discovered, but I did tear apart one of Willy Woo's charts. I did tear apart his historical volatility chart. I
Mhm.
did a pretty intensive, this probably took me about 3 hours last night just to pull this chart apart and historically see the volatility. And let me make this yellow. It's probably a little hard for everybody to see. I'll make this thing, let's try orange maybe. There you go. There you go. Okay, uh, so what I did is I went through and I did a complete measure of the volatility, going all the way back as far as I could. What you do, this is kind of a weird. You have to read this chart backwards.
Mhm.
So that's the challenge of this. Going up is not good, but going upper is great. If that made any sense, right? Going up is bad, but going upper is good, right? So there's a line, there's a channel, there's basically a bearish channel that exists. And if you get in the high end of this bearish channel or the center of this bearish channel, this is where all the bearishness occurs, right? So
Mhm.
you need to, and I'll send this over to you, Chone. I'll let you take this puppy apart like I did. But you can see that so this is a square box right here. This correlates with this square box, which then correlates with the price action. Same thing. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes, right, that I've laid out, right, that are red boxes. I then did a price action correlation with each box. And then each box shows you the direction of the volatility. So as the volatility rises right here, right, this is actually a negative on the price action. So it's just the opposite of what we look with RSI or anything else that happens, right? Now, if you
Mhm.
break this green line, boy, you get a really mean bullish run. And I've gone through here, and I didn't do the bull runs. I just did the bear runs before the bull runs. So what we could possibly be looking at, and this chart is extremely interesting, is look, we've started to bounce off of this line, so we are retracting. So I did put that directly on there. So this is the action, the volatility action is increasing. So we're getting more volatility. If this thing does turn around and come back up here, it is very bearish. Okay, so it's extremely bearish. And let me tell you what, this doesn't look like a lot when you're down here looking at these charts. And when I first was doing this, I was kind of like, oh, that's stupid. There's like nothing. These drops are small. But then once you put your correlation on here, you're talking 50% drops, right? All these have like massive price action drops to them. So look, you had a 33% drop, 60% drop, 56% drop, 51% drop. So when you do put on, this on here, you see how substantial this very small movement is. Now, this is a weekly chart. This weekly chart can happen real fast. Like the S can hit the fan quick. So look at, if you take a look right here, this thing where it just the nose dived. I mean, this thing just clearly nose dived. This thing just fell off the cliff in 1 week. But there, even though this died here, the price action moved sideways, right? Now, here's what we're talking about is the volatility increased. So increasing volatility is detrimental. So this is a really, really interesting chart. And you know what I see this does? This shows me that this to me is a great chart because it shows me the volatility in the marketplace. And what the volatility says to me is volume is the key word that I take out of volatility. So this says there's a lot of volume. And as you see that volume move and increase, that volume to me in this range says bearish until we break this green line. Now, once we break this green line, it's all pickles and onions, or you get down here to the bottom and you break this green line. Now, going below this green line is even worse, and it does kind of give you a protracted play out. So we really want to hold up here and bounce out of this. It would be really good in the short term. So in the short term, if we can bounce out of this right here and get above this green line, that would to me signal that the bear run would be over. Okay, and or close to being over, Now, you do have to get up here and you got to break out. There's a couple little levels, but you would get a substantial bull run here. Like even this small price action here is a massive, massive run up. Look at how massive this is. Just look at this teeny tiny little green arrow and look at all this massive price action here. And is now you do have to get out of this area, right? Even get over bullish action, get over bullish action. Now it's funny, it doesn't look like a lot on the chart, but if you pry into this, this is actually a very substantial price action. You're talking 10 to 15% price action here, which to us right now, 10 to 15% price action to the upside would be insane. People would just lose their freaking biscuits. People would lose their damn minds. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So this is what I discovered. Now let's pull this down to where we're at right now. Okay. So right now where we're at is we've come down here. Falling below this green line basically says we're not going to recover for a while. Okay, so this is and I'll put this on the chart, right? So falling below this last what is that 48, falling below 4850.50 is bearish. We're just going to call this a bearish long-term or medium term. We're going to call this medium term. Medium term trend. Okay.
So you're saying go up with volatility and you better have breakaway speed or else you're going to get stuck here and that's bad.
Yes. So if you fall all the way down and we break this line right here, this 4850 line, it's actually 4830. Sorry, get more into it. Let's call it 35. So if you break this line, you basically throw us into a longer term bearish trend that would last out till at least to the end of the year. I would say it would last out a couple months. Going up here, though, would get the bearish trend over with quickly. We'd get the price action. We'd get this dump out of here. Listen, let's just get this thing over with. Now, when the volatility spikes, that's going to show you're going to get a sharp decrease in price. But what that's going to do is that's going to all that's going to tell us is, hey, this is the time to buy, right? This is it. You know, we're all looking for that discount Bitcoin. We're all looking for those discount alts, and that's, you know, that's what we're looking for, right? At least
Mhm.
I am. I'm looking for, and I know you are, Chone. I know that's one of your big things you like to do. You're really good at saying, okay, this is value here. This is worth it to buy. This is where people are going to be jumping in, and that's, this chart basically lays out for you your thoughts, just in more of a graph form. Okay,
Yeah,
a little more vamp
that's
work, vamp work.
well, it's fascinating. I've been trying to find correlations between the 2014 fractal, and just trying to get an understanding as to, are we literally playing out a very similar scenario? And I think we are. I think there's a lot of precedent in the chart currently, and in that kind of comparison to our last parabolic move, and we've kind of seen a lot of consistency for that. And same with your volatility chart there, we've seen kind of what determines when that ends, when that bearishness ends, and when basically you're unable to get that breakaway speed, and that volatility and that bearishness in the market continues. In 2014, from the top to the bottom and back to the top was almost 3.5 years here. So we're moving, I feel, at a much faster corrective pace. I think, you have to factor in stuff like the ETF to kind of potentially slow that pace down a little bit here. But I do feel there is some more optimism to be a little more bullish in the fact that this correction won't take as long, just because of the additional exponential, I feel, exposure that Bitcoin has and crypto in the market. Now, obviously, there's lots that can affect that. The more altcoins that keep coming on the market will continue to basically bring in new money, but also continue to spread that money. And right now, if you've been in the alt market, you've been getting killed, because really Bitcoin is still sucking all that up. But have we topped off in that sense, where maybe we're just a couple more percentage points away? I mean, we constantly see certain round numbers being real support and resistance areas. We're 2% away from Bitcoin hitting 50%. So as 300 billion market cap was a resistance for the overall market, I think 50% could be that turnaround point, where maybe some of that money could basically be then get dispersed into some of those altcoins there. The volatility is really what's interesting, because is this new money that's coming to the crypto market with this run up to Bitcoin, or is this people just liquidating a lot of their alt holdings and putting it into Bitcoin? Are we going to see new money come in, and basically people holding some Bitcoin and pushing some of that into their alts? Profit's been made in Bitcoin over July. The question is, are people holding through that to get more? Have they already feel they've made their money? Now they're on the sidelines here, waiting for that bear volatility to increase, to really dump the price out, so they can find that value, which we talked about, that value price of Bitcoin. And, we talked about how our overall bear number is somewhere of a test of 5,000 eventually, and then kind of see what the market determines from that. I've always felt that this is a real parabolic move, and a real parabolic move has to unwind properly. We saw it in 2014, where it gave up so much of its move there, had a very long duration of a very stable kind of low area, couple fake outs that were bull traps, and eventually there was a capitulation bottom, and then it was able to move up from there. I don't think we've seen that yet in this move, no matter how much exposure Bitcoin currently has more now than it does then. And that being said, I feel eventually these areas of support in the sevens we're seeing won't hold. But in the short term, there'll be tremendous areas of opportunity for trading, whether if you're short or long, based on a lot of those oversold areas.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with all that. So, speaking of the bleeding altcoins, let's take a look. Let's take a look at a couple of vamp calls. So, if you guys did watch the show over the last couple of days, there was my target, $7.14. It sucks to miss, but I did miss. It actually hit $7.10, so I will take that as a 80%, right? I also called out, watch out, this candle can bleed, of which it is doing right now. This candle is clearly bleeding out. I have not really gone through and done another, so we can do this really quick for everybody. I called that as a dead cat bounce. It was a perfect call. Lord. All right, let's dig down into this thing. Let's peel this stuff off here. All right, so let's start going through our chart right here. All right, good news, bad news. We are coming into a heavy support line here, so we do have a lot of support right here. I would wish to see a bounce here. I really would. Not having a bounce, I mean, I can see something like this down here as possible. All right, so let's see if we can get some confluence of this all the way over here. Oh my God, dude. All right. Yep, and yeah, there it is. So, okay, so my next target here would be this area right here. So I'm going to just plop this right down here. Right here is our support range. I'm going to go up like this. Okay. Altcoins are bleeding out. They are dying faster than anything. So let's take a look at the 4 hour. Do we have any help on the 4 hour? So you just had a bearish cross. You got another bearish cross forming. So the 4 hour has more bearish crosses coming. Oh, that was my bullish. I had one bullish thing. It was on a red 9.
Yeah, the 4 hours really bearish right now. How far are we into it? We're about to close out in 18 minutes actually. No, we're not. No, we're
Oh,
not. We're halfway through it.
2 hours. 2 hours and 17
Yeah,
minutes. Yeah.
we're halfway through it.
All right, so
we're halfway through it. Yeah, and the RSI is really low in the 4 hour. That's crazy.
Yeah, so we do have another bearish cross. Let's look at the 6 hour. Nothing. You did get your 9. This thing bled out really low. Listen, I would love to see a bounce here. I really would love to see a bounce. I do think if this thing does come down, we would possibly have one more little baby fallout right there. Falling below that would just be horrific. I mean, I want to see a bounce here. There's got to be a bounce here somewhere. I want you to know I nailed a long right here, and I'm probably gonna get stomped out of it. I was playing my RSI, my bubble chart, which apparently looks like it's completely broken. Let's go see.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of indicators getting close to being really oversold on the 4 hour, the 6 hour,
look at that.
the daily slowly turning.
Died. That was the sound effects for my strong bouncer. Sound effects are brought to you by the high-tech sound effects machine in the Vamp show. We're going to pay for a nicer one next show. Go for it. Sorry, man.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, what was it? It was, there was a really strong support line that was holding the EOS USD right at around $8.30. As soon as that, I was looking for this to kind of do its thing where you break a support line and you come back and retest it, and it just dumped right out of it. So as Bitcoin is dumping right now, we're about to break 7,600 maybe, or right there. The alts continue to bleed, so EOS is one of those here. So we're not seeing people start to take
look at Tron.
These oversold areas here as a value yet. I mean, there's a little nibbling here, but so far there's nothing going on. And this day is young, especially with Bitcoin. We're not seeing any bullish divergence yet on a lot of these alts, really at all. It's just Bitcoin continues to kind of liquidate, and he's taking the alts down with him. And there's no major coins I'm seeing any kind of bullish divergence on as well. And, we saw the shorts yesterday really explode up. They actually had their biggest green candle in quite some time, really since June. So they're still holding. They had kind of a wick towards the end of the day there. There's still a lot of shorts currently riding this position here, slowly kind of probably scaling out of those buys there, but still pretty confident that this is in a bearish trend still.
All right.
until proven otherwise.
Just brutal. Okay, so if you were following Vamp's calls, I said wait for EOS to break support at $8.20. That's way up here. So if you were following my calls and you did make that call, you shorted it, you are up 15% on your trade. So if you should be up about 15% on your trade if you did wait for that, right? About 15%. It's about right, right? Plus 15% positive if you took my call in your trade. So falling, that's almost a whole little, it's fell almost a whole dollar. And yeah, it's about 13 to 15% positive right now. I would look at taking out some profit right here. So if you were in this trade, I would possibly be looking to scrape off some profit. Just for a bounce, I would, hold on a second. I would be looking to take a little profit and buy the bounces with shorts. Okay. So this is what I would be looking at doing. We did get that dead cat bounce. I called it out, and it was good. Just be very careful here. Now, breaking this support right here, you would look for your next support zone right there. So let's just make sure we're all being really, really, really careful trading in here, okay? This should bounce, okay? And I'm going to write this on here. Where is the damn bounce? Okay. Oh, where'd that go? There it is, right there. So there should be a bounce in this range somewhere. All right, and let's make this a little bit bigger. Chon, you think so?
Yeah, yeah. I'm just watching this in correlation with what's going on with Bitcoin. It's trying to find a bottom right here.
Woo! Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?
Did
Oh,
we hit your
perfect!
right there?
Perfect! Look at that! Fart, I'm good. Damn, I'm good. Look at that. Pokey, pokey. Oh, yeah, look at that. Bounced right off it. Look at that. You gotta love it. That makes you feel good. You know what I'm saying? That just makes you feel good. Oh, look at that. Come on. Good job. 75.91 and it got rejected. Look at that. I was off by, God, what is that? 4 points? 6 points. 6 points off. Can it hold? Can it hold? Can it hold? So let's go over on our chart here. We're just gonna put a. Let's just. You know what? A wise man once told me. There we go. Oh shit! Please hold. There we go. Oh shit! It's gotta hold. Okay, if that doesn't hold, we know where our next target is. Okay. So we do know
we're looking for that volume follow through, right? You know, that was a nice little pop right there.
Yeah.
Again, this is something very similar to kind of what we saw at the end of the day there, where we had a quick flush, bought up. This is a little weaker actually in terms of Bitcoin volume. And if this doesn't hold, again, that flush of 7,500 to maybe like 7,470, just to kind of flush out all the stops at 7,500. And then again, that could be another, you know, if this doesn't hold, still in the area there. I mean, remember, a big oversold pop can bring us back hundreds of dollars pretty quickly.
Really quick. Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely. Yeah, so let's just make sure we're all being very careful, okay? Yeah, so wow. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I love, you know what? Sometimes, dude, I swear, anybody follow Lupe on Twitter?
Yeah.
Listen,
Senor Lupe.
if you guys have not had a chance, please go give Senor Lupe a follow. That guy is absolutely hilarious. The amount of work he puts into that Twitter profile is amazing. That guy just cracks me up. Okay. Let's see if we can. Let's go back over. Let's take a look at our bubble chart really quick. Um, Yeah, see, there's nothing down here. So you're gotta find one of these, and looking, and the other thing too is if you come over here and you look at your MACD chart, right? Look at this thing. There's no waver in this line. There's no waver in it. That's just a straight dump right there. This thing is just falling out of the sky right here. Let's get a correlation. I just want to take a look at this in accordance with previous price action here.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's just peek here and see what has happened when we have fallen out from these levels up here previously. And it's funny because if you go up here and you take a look at some of these peaks up here, you got a substantial drop there. That was a substantial drop. Same thing here, substantial drop. So look, now you've traveled a long way, right? And you've got very little price action traveled here. So you guys got to really keep an eye on this, right? Now, here's the bad news, right? Here's the bottom, right? Up, 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 up to here. But what happened? This is all the price crashing, right? So the price was crashing, the MACD was moving up, they were moving inverse to one another. This was completely bearish and just horrific. The last couple times we have fallen out here, not that bad. I'm kind of looking for the next fall level below. Here we go. There's the next fall level right there. So you can see there's a little kink in the arm right there, and correlates with this. So pretty good dive right there. Pretty good dive right there. Yeah, look at this. This just doesn't want to stop though. It's absolutely just as vertical as it can possibly be. We're gonna have to catch something here.
Yeah.
So this thing can drop all the way down here to negative. So you see this dropped all the way down to -9 right here. So, getting up here, when we did fall out from up here, this did fall out all the way to -9. So let's be careful. This does have a little way to go, but when this does rally, when this does bounce, it could just be a massive negative rally right here.
Mm.
I'm going to have to dig into that chart now.
And listen, market psychology plays a big part about this here. I think a lot of the bullishness that the market really felt in July, this is another kind of beatdown hit on that. If you're holding through this, you just lost. We're down $1,000. Basically, just lost $1,000 since our peak out on July 23rd. There. So if you have riding this profit and now you just gave back 1,000. Basically, what the 2,000, 3,000, wait, 3,000, 57, 67, yeah, like $2,500. So almost a 30% kind of hit on where we peaked out there. That's crazy. So you're either basically trying to figure out where you can get back in, and or if you felt you missed, that bullish move there, is this kind of your second chance for that next bullish continuation and to push Bitcoin higher? And again, we talked about how the news driven information is what's really pushing this market higher. We had a really big volume day yesterday. It was all red. Not a lot of that was bought up. So today's volume really needs to basically settle things down a little bit and try and stop this bleeding. There are some supports where we're currently finding in the $7,500 area. I think if this fails to hold, I'm still looking for that chance of a flush, in the like right at almost basically $7,500. There's a little money there. I like to look at the L2 or the order book in crypto, and there's money parked at around $7,500. So exchanges want those fees potentially. So there's a lot of incentive for them to flush the market, break through a lot of these stop losses, break below $7,500, and then you kind of see that quick pop, that quick V bottom in a lot of the indicators here. We've seen how low our oversold can go. The higher the indicator, the more meaningful it is. So if the 4-hour is oversold, look at the 6-hour and see really how oversold is it. Bring it up to 12-hour, and then eventually the daily, you get a sense of what really oversold means, and we're not really there yet. It's take a long time to play out as we get into, August here, and it's summer months still. Even the stock markets will have a lot of impact on what's happening here. I've always thought that a bullish stock market will be beneficial to crypto. You have to ask yourself, is a lot of that Facebook money and Twitter money where they just got beaten up this week, is that going to flow into crypto, or is that just not even interested because they have their own problems in the overall broader market?
Yeah, boy, Facebook just got beaten. Are they still getting beaten? I haven't looked at the markets today.
It's stabilized. Apple is kind of the big story. They had better than expected earnings. They popped after hours. But we'll see how they open tomorrow, because if they can't follow through, then that's just another kind of slap in the face on tech, and that's driven a lot of this. All the FANGs. It almost feels like if their run stops, and the FANGs are such a big part of a lot of indexes and a lot of the bullish movements of the S&Ps and a lot of the other ETF funds. So those are propped up, your Netflix, your Amazons, your Apples, Googles, so far so good, except for really Facebook. But if we stop seeing that bullishness in the market here, I think that will have a negative impact on crypto. I don't feel it's set itself up yet as kind of a stable alternative, but people will start to seek alpha in other places if they're not finding it, on the NASDAQ or in the S&P.
Yep, no, I 100% agree. All right, just laying out some little bubbles on my bubble chart here. I love always improving my charts. So just kind of plotting out new areas. All right. So we do have on the bubble charts a potential bounce. We are in a bounce area. We do have we have a green run area coming, so this would be really nice. This would be a green bounce area. You guys can see we correlate all these different green zones. You did get some amazing bounces. Now, none of these came here, so last time we dropped there, we really were way up higher. So listen, last time we got this little run up, we were in a completely different place. Got that nice purple bounce up. So we are deep now. Let's just kind of watch this play out. This is still pretty much a vertical line, just coming straight down. All right. Let me get rid of this. I hate how those things keep getting added back on there. All right. We are in here. I still am looking for a bounce zone for a second push, but man, this is not looking good right here. And there's that, and there goes my line. Fuck. There it goes. Oh shit. Okay, so this still has a chance to hold this here, okay? So you can't pierce this, and it can't bounce back up.
We're close. I think we have another like $80 potentially to fall and then find a good flush, and that will put us like right under 7,500. And again, if you're buying this dip, you're scaling in. So you're probably scaling into some of this blood, hoping that this is kind of pay off with a nice bounce. But yeah. I'm really excited, not excited, but I'm interested to see if we do flush 7,500. I'm looking for that quick pop turnaround of just that basic flat $7,500 range, which is right there, and that's where you get that fear where, oh my God, we just broke 7,500, here comes your flush, and then there's kind of that exhale, and we're getting very close to that right now.
So you see it is it Pierce that you kind of see it stalled on the MAs, and you saw it sit there and stall there for just a minute, and there was the stall and trying to bounce, trying to bounce. Wow, it's glad to be in a short position. Glad to be in a short position. That's for sure. Wow. All right, looks like we do have a pause right here. 75.50. Let's make sure I'm moving my charts around in the right places here. And trying to hold. Man, I'm telling you guys, it's just the sky is falling. It's okay. I've got Big Chone here to hold me. So I've got Big Chone here to hold me as this thing goes down. And oh, nice. Bounced off my bottom.
Yeah, there's a lot of money right now on the order book. They're really trying to figure out, do I want to dip my toe in there right here? And again, from a risk versus reward standpoint, a lot of indicators are in those oversold areas now.
Yeah.
At least compared to where we've been experiencing. Like, we haven't been this oversold for weeks. This is a new paradigm that we haven't seen most of July now.
Yep. Yep. All right. So we are trying to hold it right there in the position. Let's go back and let's take a couple look at some of our other alts. All right. Well, we said where's the bounce? Hopefully we are going to get the bounce right here. Let's go over and take a look at Tron. Yeah. So there's my targets for Tron. So if you were in our group, you could see this is our live alt stream. This is the same charts that are in our live alt stream. So we've come down here. We've hit both of our bottom targets. We're almost to the end of our bottom target right there with Tron. Nothing good is coming of this. So supports are all the way down here. And there's no damn MAs down here, so I'm just going to run this out of support. All right, resistance is now going to be right up here. So we're now going to park our resistance lines. Actually, we're about right here. Oh, no, that was correct. So resistance is going to be right here. Come here. Get off there. There we go. Yeah, we got a super cross. So you did get a super cross on this. There's all three of your MAs converging and crossing. We're going to peel all that off. Peel that off. And let's just kind of see what we're at. 6 hour chart. Nothing. The 1 day chart did get a bearish. You did get this bearish cross right here. This is a death cross. So here you are. If you were playing this, my last resistance was 0.036. So if you were playing this and you were shorting this, you were up. I'm not sure how much of a percentage that is, but you are actually doing pretty good in this trade if you're playing my charts. You do have resistance all the way up there. Tron is just not looking good. So let's go. So we're going to call this a confirmed cross on the daily. Where's our daily? I'm going to title this 1. All right. So we're going to the daily confirmed DC between the 7 and the 30. All right. 4 hour over here. It's a 6 hour doesn't look like any help. Let's go to the 12-hour. Confirmed death cross on the 12-hour. Okay, let's go down right here. 12-hour confirmed death cross, and that was with the 7 and the 50. All right, so that's brand new. Let's go to the 6-hour, nothing, 4-hour. Well, there, okay, so here is, so you got this up here. If this puppy were to bounce, this is all of your resistance is up here. Come on, oops, grab the wrong one. There we go. Okay, and wow, this thing just doesn't want to stop.
Neither does Bitcoin right now.
Yeah, no, Bitcoin did it just break through?
It's right there.
Oh,
75.30. You're right there. I tell you, it's going to flush 7,500, and then there should be a nice little pop up after that flush.
Just brutal. So let's go over here. Let's take a look at our, here's our, okay, so you've got your 9. You hit your perfected 9, bleeding out. Okay, let's look for support zones over here. So Chonis is, what Chonis likes to look at, and all of us like to look at, experienced TA guys. So you see all the confluence in this zone right here. Correct, Chonis? Right here. So this is what he's looking at right here for support. So he's looking for this to come down into this area, and you've had all this historical support in this area. All right. So you had all that historical support that's right down in this area. So you see all these tops have ripped right through here. Kind of perfect. Boom, 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 boom. And then there's another layer a little bit lower. You got another layer at the bottom. So we are at 75.23 right now and falling. Okay.
Yeah, I don't see how this like little area holds. I think 7,500. Let's do it. And also, you have to realize, like, we were a day ago, we were at $8,200. So we just lost $700 in the price of Bitcoin in like 30 hours. That's a big move. So we're probably at the last couple percent, even of that complete fall from where we were, this kind of shock of the system, if you will. Now, a lot of this has to do with kind of really how strong this move was from the beginning to begin with, and I think we're kind of seeing right now how quickly and how like a hot knife through butter, once 8,000 broke, the 7,000s, at least the upper part of them, were just not a lot of support there, except what we had through the chop into the day, a few oversold bounces, but nothing consistent. Now, when we do have these big breaks, I kind of look for them to kind of happen in threes, a big dip, a little consolidation, a big dip, a little consolidation, then like your last kind of flush out. And I can't tell really if this is our second or a third. There's an argument for both right now.
Yeah. All right, we're getting really, really close down here. All right, so you keep an eye on that. Let me finish up.
Sure.
Let me finish up the other bloody charts. So let me work on this patient over here. Okay. All right, almost to target. Man, I don't know if I want to put lower targets on here or not. I still think this needs to bounce. You know what I'm saying? So we still need. So we're looking for a bounce. Oh, that was the wife. Just brought me substance. So
nice.
Yeah, looking for a bounce. Hello. All right. Gosh, damn. All right, and just gonna make this a little bit bigger. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna happen like right now. There's about It's about 90 grand right now. I'm just watching Coinbase order book. About 90 grand right at $7,500. It's just about to flush through, and a couple hits up. Now there's over 100 grand at $7,500.
Oh, people are stacking buys.
Yeah, they're stacking. Well, they're stacking buys under it, and they're just right there at the wall. There's a lot of money right now. A lot of money happening.
Got it. All right, Sean, why don't you talk us through this for just 1 second? Give me a second, okay?
Sure.
Okay,
Sure.
go for it.
All right. So listen, we are right at $7,500. There's a lot of money kind of holding 7,500 up plus a little bit underneath. We see this a lot in Bitcoin, where you have a big flush of a very important area, either a solid $1,000 mark, 7,000, 6,000. We've seen it before. When we had our February lows and we basically bottomed at 5,800, that was a big flush of $6,000 that we were able to kind of come out of quickly. So I'm looking for something similar. Now, maybe 7,500 does hold here, but there's enough money under it that I would expect at least the markets, the exchanges would want to get that to process through, knowing that there'll be a decent bounce, because we're talking about we're just dollars away from like hundreds of thousands of dollars changing hands in a big transaction here. And a lot of people, there's a good chance there's stop orders right at around $7,500 if you went long through this whole time. You know, not everybody is watching tick by tick on Bitcoin like me and Vamp are here. So, you know, a lot of people just have things set and kind of walk away, you know, hoping things will basically hold the price up here. But you know, until we see volume come in, that is confirming that we are reached an oversold limit where the market can't take it anymore. That's going to be your clue. And we're just right there. We're just hugging that $7,500 there. I'm still looking for a flush, but we're having a little bit of a move here. But I'm just not trusting it yet because none of these moves have been really, we haven't seen any fall through anything yet, you know, and until we basically, I'm watching to see if how much of this bounce is sold into. I want to see volume be dumped into here and see the price stabilize. Right now, there's a lot of people dumping into this kind of buy pressure here as we're currently holding $7,500 here. So if you're liquidating, this is a great area to keep kind of dumping your Bitcoin because you got buyers right here at $7,500 trying to keep the price up, especially if you already have contracts out long or short. You know, if you're short, you're trying to block this thing from moving higher. If you're long, you're trying to support it as best you can with either some fake walls or what have you. So right now there's a lot of money kind of battling to decide which way this will flush. I don't expect a big flush if we do break $7,500. That'd be a nice way to kind of reset everything, especially our oversold indicators. But on our hourly, I still show we can go lower. You know, on our 4 hour, even though we are very oversold, especially on our RSI, we're right there in an area where we could go a couple points lower. You know, we're at 21 in the 4 hour RSI. We've been as low as 20, so we could retest those lows. So we're very close. You know, if you're scaling in and you want to play a bounce, you know, you'll probably have some sort of a position right now. But if not, you're just waiting to see more of the blood to come through. But we've had a big move off our highs already. 30 hours ago, we were over $8,000. This is a big move in a very short amount of time, bearish. We have not seen a move like this literally since like the end of June. So it's been a long time. People forget these things can happen. I think this move took a lot of people off guard, especially people that were trying to scale in at higher prices here.
Okay, so also everybody on the alts really quick, I just want to remind everyone that we had called 15 days ago these three white soldiers marching, and everybody who was watching us has known that these three white soldiers marching is a bull trap. So this is clearly a bull trap, and this is exactly what happened here. The bulls just got absolutely just wrecked. I mean, this is what this is. And in three white soldiers marching, you target lower than where you initially took off. And let's pull that up for everybody. Let me go grab this here. Three white soldiers. Oh. All right, so where are you? Where are you? Where are you? I see the bullish one.
Yeah, Tron's just bearish. I mean, this was a cult coin. This was it's just bearish. I mean, you wanted to hold, that three, well, USD, right? So 3 cents,
Yeah,
yeah, three
yeah.
cents, right there, and like three and a half cents, let's say. And we were in that triangle there. We broke bearish. Now a retest can bring us back up to 3.5 cents. Kind of retest and confirm that resistance line there. But I mean, this is just looking like we're going to bleed out into the 2 cent area once again. There's just nothing that says,
God. Yep,
yeah, I
go for
mean,
it.
yeah, there's nothing good about this chart. And a lot of Tron's move was based on news. It was based on their big, was it the mainnet or something? I can't keep them straight. But a lot of that push, especially through April, we went big there. That was one of the bigger moves. We went from like 3 cents to 10 cents. That was 300% right there in a matter of a couple of weeks there. That was a massive move. And we gave it all back. You Troners, you hodlers, you gave it all back. So we're right back into an area here where, I mean, a double bottom bounce is kind of your best case hope right there.
Got it. Okay, we do have 3 black crows on the board though. So let's go ahead and find these. So we're going to have 3 black crows. See what we got here. All right. So we have 3 black crows. Looks like there's a bounce at the end of the 3 black crows. Jonas, you do much candle play?
Yeah, which one are you? Which time frame you want to talk about?
3 black crows on the daily.
I mean, yeah, the fourth day is can be a reversal from an oversold. I mean, again, you get 3 days in a row of something you would consider black crows, which is basically like an inverse three white soldiers there. You're getting closer to an area for a bounce. Bitcoin again is right there. So Bitcoin bouncing at 7,500 or a flush under, coincides with a lot of these alts, a lot of the bleeding kind of subsiding. But there's just nothing that says holding 7,500 and bouncing back to 7,650, is anywhere near like a trend change turnaround. This just a quick move. This takes several days, I think, to kind of play out. I wouldn't be surprised if through the rest of the week we're basically bouncing around in the sevens, trying to find some sort of a support and a more of a market direction. But in that area of maybe we can find some Bitcoin stability, I'd like to see how the alts react to that, which if people are starting to play a lot of these, because a lot of them, we talk about Bitcoin being in oversold areas. Some of these alts are beginning to get to those areas as well, especially some that have actually had really good or at least interesting news about them recently. Your ADAs, your Lumens, ZRXs, the Coinbase 6 ones, etc. These are the ones that people have a lot of eyeballs on, and probably have a lot of bags in. So looking for those to kind of basically stop the bleeding and have something of a bounce coinciding with a Bitcoin bounce, which we're just looking for currently right above 7,500.
Yeah, so I'm looking at a bunch of the different 3 black crows charts, and of course I've got 2 different variations. One guy says it's bullish, one guy says it's bearish. So yeah, the last one I just pulled up, this one says it's look at this one says that the 3 black crows is bullish, right? Bullish
for a turnaround, and then a
yeah.
continuation. Yeah,
No, this guy just says it's bullish.
that's good.
This guy says it's bullish, but then you go over here and everybody else is like, dude, this is the problem with the damn internet.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing too. A lot of these charts are based on a closing price and then the next day opening. So a lot of these candles are reflecting a non 24/7 like Bitcoin is.
Mm-hmm. Ah,
You don't have a lot of those indicators that we have in it.
yeah. Well, the good news, if you're just looking for an answer, there's always the internet or your wife, and if you're looking for the right answer, there's always your dad. Right? So, if you're looking for the right answer, go ask your dad. All right, I'm just gonna save these. All right, so let's come over here. Let's take a look at what we've got on Litecoin. And what do we got on Litecoin? Litecoin is actually doing okay. You know,
Yeah,
Litecoin has not made a new lower low.
I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the LTC BTC finally hit exactly 1%. Actually, it broke it by a couple points. But we were looking to get back into this very historic area where the price of Litecoin USD was right at 1% of the price of Bitcoin. And to confirm that change of bearishness that we've seen with Litecoin, where Bitcoin has risen, Litecoin has risen slower, Bitcoin has fallen, Litecoin has fallen faster. We're looking for that kind of sentiment change where Bitcoin can still be bearish and take Litecoin down with it, just not at the same rate and even at a slower rate. And potentially you could start to see a little bullish divergence play out in Litecoin.
Yeah, so let's pull these targets off here. Okay, and so my target has been 70. So his first $78 was my very first target. We hit that. I then adjusted my targets. If you guys saw that last night, if you're watching for the members, 74, $75. It's possible. So let's just go over here. So we're on the daily. We did have this death cross confirmed. If you were watching, so this death cross is confirmed. Okay, so you got that death cross confirmed. Oh. Okay, right there. So that's on the daily. 12 hours. You did have a death cross, but it's far behind us. You got another bearish cross coming. Let's look down to the 6 hours. 6 hour, you do have the 30 and the 50 on there, so we're gonna go here. So 6 hours. Let's do this. So 6 hours. So the 6 hour, we will do a another. So the 30 and the 50 bear cross. It's just happening right now, and I'm gonna put some resistance up here at $84. So there's our 80. We got a lot of resistance at $84. We got more resistance right here at right here, $81. We're gonna drop some. So there's this, there's that. There's that.
84 seems a stretch. I mean, I'm bearish on Bitcoin. I'm sorry, I'm bearish on Litecoin because it's been a bad trade. You know, it's been a bad trade the whole way through. If you've been playing Litecoin or Ethereum, you just haven't seen the returns you've seen in Bitcoin. You know, a little bit better with Bitcoin Cash, I guess, from a percentage standpoint. But you know, there's still nothing good about Litecoin, and other than the fact that we're again, you know, in oversold indicators in the 4 hour, we do have a slight bullish cross on the stochastics RSI. And I think it's kind of interesting on the daily. There's just a little bit of history in this area right here on the daily where it did act as some support right at 38 on the RSI. So that could be a little bit of support. 38, 37 on the daily. And again, I'm looking for a slightly less bearishness in Litecoin because it was able to find a little bit of support and bounce right at that 1% mark. Now, it does not mean it can hold, you know, because we're the daily RSI on Litecoin has been sub 30 more or less most of July. So it's just been beaten up, you know, just beaten up. But this is kind of its first time literally in quite a while here where it's a little bit bullish compared to how it's been over the past several weeks there. So even if Bitcoin corrects here, I'm still looking for more stability here. But I think the 60s are eventually where Litecoin will end up. I just think the 80s are going to become more of a resistance zone, and every bullish pop in Litecoin continues to be sold off on. So until people feel more confident about holding longer, I just don't see those higher areas kind of in play anytime soon. And I really don't see a bullish pop in Bitcoin. I mean, a pop from 76 to 8,000 in Bitcoin would definitely bring Litecoin over $80 again. But I don't see that in Bitcoin's cards, at least for the next several days anytime soon.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of marching down here, finding all the resistance and the support points. So, right there. And there we go. All right. So there's kind of your resistance and support layers. Above you, support. I've had some real. There's my target. If anybody ever wants to know what my targets are for Litecoin, there you go. That's my Litecoin target. It's been there. I'm just gonna leave it right there. So I do have $51 to $44 for Litecoin. That's still my low for Litecoin.
Yeah, and then you got to ask yourself, what does that Bitcoin price look like when Litecoin's down there?
Yeah, pretty damn
Is
ugly.
that is that
40,
yeah? I mean, is
4K,
that sub?
40, 4,200,
Yeah, yeah.
4,800.
I was gonna say that's
42,
sub
4,800.
5,000 Bitcoin there probably.
Yeah, so 42, 4,800 is where that is. You are on you're on the last support area right here. This is it. You crack this, and you see there's just kind of some gaps in here with the last time. There's some gaps in here. I do have, you're looking, you do have some catch area in here. There you go. Oh, sorry. Let me grab this. So there you go. So this is, you have some support area here, and then you $62. And if this thing just all hell breaks loose, I still think we're going to see a bounce. This is not going to, I don't think we're going to go straight down to here, but I do think we're going to see some bouncing around. Now, if we do drop all of a sudden to say the floor falls out on us right here, which I don't think, I still think we get a bounce here somewhere, right? We're going to get a bounce. If the floor does fall out on the bounce in the $7,200 range is our next target. So $7,200 for Bitcoin, 7,300 is the next target down. This is we're at 75. I could see this being 7,300 in here, in this range. This could be 7,300. Now you break below this, and then you just, like I said, you're going to just start to get real ugly here. I really can't. The bear cross did play out in the 12 hours, so you did get that bear cross. You do have another bear cross coming. So we're gonna take this off. 6 hours. Yep. So look, you do have a brand new cross on the 6 hour. So it's a brand new cross on the 6 hour. So we're just gonna pull this off, and that's it. Nothing else I can say. It's just nothing else I can say about this.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, and I remember when it was ranging in price, and it was basically, I remember it being around like $30 to $44, and then the next thing I know, it was in the 70s. So there wasn't a lot of time, I recall, was spent in Litecoin in the 50s and 60s. So I agree. If we start breaking out of the 70s, and really, 72, we put in a little higher low at 73, and now your low, you just said, around 74 is possible. So putting in slightly higher lows that continues, that's good. If we break that trend and basically we break 70, then we can clearly talk about lower areas. Right now I have the MA 100 on the weekly at 72.13, and then I have my lower Bollinger all the way down to $54. So there's not much between that and that I'm seeing in terms of the EMAs and the EMAs that I use
Yeah.
support this up. Again, all that corresponds with a really bearish Bitcoin. So we'll see if this bounce here can kind of keep it afloat. And really, it's hard to determine when this can play out. I mean, I expect a lot of volatility in August. I expect a lot happening in the fall or in September, October, and November in crypto in general. I think a lot of that story, a lot of the first chapter will be written this month in August when we can really either confirm that we found stability here in this price area, or are we really seeing that we just really haven't started where we can see how low Bitcoin and the alt market can truly go. And if you look at some alts that have been around for several years, 2014, 2015, 2016, you see the ebbs and flows they have when they have really good parabolic moves and they give it all back and they do it all again and they give it all back. So there's history in this. This is precedent. This is not the first time this has happened, and we're seeing it repeat itself over and over again.
Yep. All right. So there's our Litecoin chart. We did our Tron. There's our Tron chart. There's our EOS chart. Oh God, dude, Ethereum is the worst. All right, let's load the Ethereum chart here, and let's take it Ethereum.
Yeah.
And Ethereum is by far the worst that we've got right now.
We just broke bearish from our flag we've been putting in for a while there. Yeah. On the weekly, at least. Yeah. Look at that. It was
all right.
Channel
So
for a while, and it just broke it.
This is my targets for Ethereum. So you can see my targets here for Ethereum, where they have been. It's a pretty damn big bubble right there. Seriously, it gave me a lot of wiggle room. But we'll look at where we're at right here. We have just broken the last support. We have definitely, unless this snaps all the way back up here in the next 3 hours and 27 minutes, you have set a new monthly wells all the way back to July. So this is July. So this is a new 30-day plus low. You have very limited support down here. We will look at this though. We'll dig right into here and see what we can find. Yeah. So you're about to create Ethereum is just very, very bearish too. Ethereum is much more bearish than Litecoin. So you see we came down, tapped my line. Here's one of my support lines. Tapped the line, perfect. These lines are really old. So these green lines that are down here, these teal lines are pretty darn old. Came down here, tapped it, and getting that little bit of bounce off it. Now look at this. This was a 9. Here's the 9. There's the 9 up here. Whew! Boy, did that fall out. There's bleeding right there. Right? Actually, I'm going to go back in. So we're going to go see if we can find some support. Some resistance would be right up there. So there's kind of your resistance right there. Your next level of resistance is going to be moving down into this area. That's the 6 hour, 12 hour. I mean, you just look, so you basically had a super cross. You're about to create another cross. So you look, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 death crosses all at the same time on the 12 hour. I mean, Ethereum just never had a chance. It just never even had a chance right there. So if you were playing my chart, you'll see that I said break lower of 457. So if you broke out of 457, which was my last thing, and you did short this, you are $40 up right now. So you're $40 up. You're in a massive win trade right now from my call. So I said no trade until it breaks lower than 457. So if you did get in this, you have just an easy money call. You are sitting in some amazing, amazing profit right now. Boy, you're killing it. That's 10% up. So you're basically at 10 points up right now on Ethereum. Chone?
Yeah, I mean it's bearish. I agree with all the things you're saying there. I mean, I'm looking at 350 again. I'm looking at there's nothing good about this chart, especially where the RSI is in the daily. It's F36 and it's bearish. So I just see it. It can just go. It can fall a lot farther. And that 400 support, I just not seeing it. You know, we tested it once. You know, like 410, 413 back at the end of June. We held. We came all the way back. We put in a slightly higher low. We had a really nice bounce from that. And now we're back there for a third time. There's nothing that says to me that 400 is a solid support area. And we had our bounce area pretty strong when we found support back in the end of March around 375. Ethereum likes to travel in 75s and 25s. Notice that. So, you know, a break of 400, you know, 375 are right there again. I expect some initial support just because of the history of that area. But a little bounce from there, maybe another hump from that support there. The fact that we were able to hold above 4 doesn't give me a strong hope of a bounce if we break 4 and get, you know, 50 bucks off that. So, you know, there's support around the 350 to 375 range. But again, Ethereum's bullish momentum of anything that it could have had is just gone. And the way that this correlates with the altcoins, it's going to continue to bleed out. And remember, Ethereum, like Litecoin, was dirt cheap back in, you know, May, June of 2017. You know, you could get Ethereum for 15, 20 bucks Ether, right? And then so we go from $20 to $1,400, okay, and we're still at $400. They unwind just from a parabolic standpoint. I feel has a long way to go. I think a lot of hodlers of Ethereum can be quite surprised as to how low that really could go over this over as we keep progressing here, especially if Bitcoin continues to break down. There's been nothing in terms of Ethereum's price action that suggests any kind of bullish divergence yet to Bitcoin. And I just don't see that trend changing anytime soon with Ethereum.
Yeah, so I'm going to throw this as my next. There we go. All right, and wow, just absolutely taking it in the shorts on Ethereum. If you did run my call, you're doing really well, and you have a possibility of making a lot more money on this coin. Just you're being followed by a gaggle of, you know, you're being chased. So you're being chased by these
Dogs.
That's right, by this cluster. You're being chased by this cluster of MAs above. And this is on the daily, right? And this is worse because, you know, you're being chased by this cluster on the daily right here. So that's even more dangerous right there.
It had its moment to really kind of make this move bullish, and it just didn't do it.
Yeah, no. So there you go. That's it. There's nothing you can really say. And here, let's pull this back. Yep, somebody's at the door. Well, we have a bunch of people. Where have the floor guys are here. I just can't win right now. Contractors all day in and out of the house. All right, so there we go. The 12-hour and the you know, it's still this is gonna, you know, this is gonna hold their bounce with, and I would like to say this is possibly looks like it is leading the way. So I just for giggles, I'm going to.
Oof.
do something like this, and I could totally be wrong, right? I just could completely be wrong, and it's okay. I'm just gonna just going out on a little whim here. Now remember, this thing could also come down here a little bit low. Where are we at here? This price action says whoosh, whoosh.
Yeah, we're right there. I mean,
Oh
we're getting into an
man.
oversold bounce area, but
Yeah, maybe a little lower. I'll risk a little lower. How about that? How about this? How about this right down here? I mean, if this thing goes,
I mean,
this
this
is
is where it all started. 414 right now, where the price is. This is where it all started. So we're once again there. There's nothing that says other than a short term. Oh, I remember being in this area. I remember that we used to bounce in this area. Other than that, people that even had entries then and just had stop losses around here as well. This is kind of flush. I don't see
yeah,
why this. I don't see how 400 holds.
yeah,
At least in the short term.
yeah. So we're gonna go down here to 383. Okay, we're gonna come on down here to 383. If this thing does break, this is kind of where I see this giving us a bounce down here if this does happen, and then still retracing down. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
something like that right there. Okay.
And there is a story about Ethereum being, a couple weeks to a month behind the price action of Bitcoin. Remember, it had its parabolic move, after Bitcoin topped off.
Mm-hmm.
So is it behind Bitcoin in terms of how its correction is playing out? Is there something we can kind of glean from that? Where is it doing what Bitcoin did in June, where it broke down its supports and it's going to have a really bad August, get really oversold, and then find that kind of bounce area that Bitcoin did? I'm always kind of watching that because that would correlate with a really bad August for Ethereum, but a really nice pop towards the end, and that would basically put a bottoming of Ethereum sub 350, maybe testing $300 for a bounce area there.
So take a look down here at our. Go ahead and take a peek down here at the our volatility chart and look at this thing moving up. It's kicking up right now, so I'm trying to find a. I just want to. I'm trying to track this thing right here, so I'm going to put that line right there, and then I will put. Uh, uh, wow. So we're going to say August 1st. UTC is 2:40 a.m. Okay. Oh, just got kicked off there real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna kick. It should bring us back in. There we go. All right, so we're gonna say August 1st, 2:40 a.m. There was, so this was yesterday. So when I did this chart yesterday, this was July 31st is when I did that previous green line. And we're gonna make this thing green like that. There we go. Okay. I just want to keep an eye on this because if this thing just turns around and whiplashes back up, we're gonna have a really good idea of some oncoming pain and torture. All right. And what do we got here? We have BTC. Got it. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Looking good. Okay. In bounce zones. Just bounce zones only. Far away from a green zone, but we are in a bounce zone here. This thing is just absolutely vertical. Absolutely vertical on our RSI. But the good news is these are all bounce zones in here. So we are in a bunch of bounce areas. Let's just see if this puppy holds. Wow. All right, let's do this. We have been on the air for holy Jesus. It is almost 8 o'clock. All right. Yeah. So let's do this. We'll take God, I don't even want to take any questions. We've been on for 3 hours.
I think we gave him a lot of information tonight.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. So we will be, man. Thank you so much, Chone, for coming on last minute, brother. It's always so easy doing the show with you. I love it. We're gonna have to rename this the Vampy Chone or the Chone Vamp Show or the Chonis or something. Man, I really, really appreciate you being here. We are working on, we're going to start groveling to Chone to get the guy to go out and get his damn passport so Chone can come out and join us at the crypto campus in October in Portugal. So we are going to start harassing him daily to come out and be a part of the crypto campus. We'd really love to have you come out. I think we confirmed the burb today. So we have some
Ooh.
really exciting news. We have I think we have burb confirmed to come out to the first ever crypto campus. So yeah, super. Yeah, it's gonna be the Big Champ Show. I like it, the Big Champ Show. I love it. So we would, man, boy, if we could get Burb and Chonis and Johnny and Lisa, I'm telling you, it would be a star-studded event to say the least. Okay. So we are looking at that. We're looking at starting to. We just confirmed with some of the hotels today, so we do have room. We do have the rooms, and I think we're just lining out the last few details. Okay. We will start shilling the living crap out of the show. It will have limited. We're only going to allow 50 people. The idea behind having 50 people is what we want to be able to do is we want to have 5 to 7 TA guys, professionals. So the idea is to get 5 to 7 just absolute superstars, and then another 5 of our next grade down TA people. We want to be able to break people up into groups of 10 or 5. And so to really get that quality, and you're going to be able to get a lot of one-on-one time with everyone. So that's kind of the key to it's a full immersion crypto campus into trading. So that's what it is. It's you're going to go in from day one. When you come out of this thing, by day 3 or 4, you should be trading like a beast. Okay, so it is 6 days long, 4-star hotel. It will be in Portugal. It'll be 2 meals a day. So it's all included. So you're gonna have 2 meals and your hotel included in it. The conference center will have multiple meeting rooms. We'll have multiple things going on every day. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and the idea is to get people trained up to be champs, like the Chone. Bunch of mini vamp Chones and mini vamps. Okay. And to all of us here, hoping that the price holds, it doesn't go down to our next support level in the next few minutes here, because it's definitely testing the $7,500 range again. We would like to say thank you, Chone. Give everybody say thank you to all your fan club. I know you have a huge fan club out there.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me tonight, and everybody in the chat room here, and all the people that we get to interact with daily on Twitter. It's a good, tight community. We try and help each other out. We try and inform and basically show our best ideas and really cool, interesting TA events, moments in the chart that we always like to point out. And listen, you guys have to stay safe out there. This is a very volatile, very risky market. I know a lot of people were really excited about a lot of the price action they saw in July, hoping it was going to continue. Probably put a lot of, to open up some new bags, unfortunately, and some coins, and that's unfortunate, but this is how this market works here. It's very volatile. There's lots of opportunity if you're smart, if you're disciplined, if you stick to your trading rules, and if you, continue to basically stick to the kind of people that are honest and try and show you, exactly what they're seeing in the charts here. And everything changes every day here. We see the volatility play out all the time here. So this is an ongoing move. And if you want to stay smart and stay in this game long term, capital preservation is key. Don't overextend yourself. Keep your stop losses tight, and you can play a long time in this game.
God, man, awesome. So thank you so much from everybody here at the Vamp and Until 1 Million. Do me a favor. We got 116 people out there. Give me and Chone a like on the video. That's just smash that like button down. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Listen, we had almost 150 people watching today. Really appreciate you guys coming on last minute. And listen, we will be here tomorrow again, and I'll probably be back on again tonight for a secret session, simply because I like to get on for secret sessions like this, because when the price is drastically crashing, simply because I just want to make sure we're all being safe in this situation, and that goes for members and non-members only. Listen, that's why I keep these charts running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for you guys, so that you are safe along with our members. And listen, I love you all. And from me and the Chone, we are out.